Panic on the streets of Vienna. The shooting began around 8 p.m. Armed police quickly flooded the city centre. It was an unseasonably warm evening, and bars and restaurants were crowded ahead of a partial lockdown beginning Tuesday. Gunmen opened fire at least 6 locations. The first reports came from near the city's main synagogue. It was closed at the time, but a rabbi watched the horror unfold from his window.
I saw the attacker running into various bars and restaurants which are lined up on our street, and people running away, and this 1 or 2 attackers chasing them all over the street. They were shooting at least 100 rounds just in front of our building.
Police sealed off the city centre, urging people to stay away and remain indoors.
Last night we experienced an attack by at least one Islamist terrorist. A situation we haven't had to experience in Austria for decades.
Seit Jahrzehnten nicht mehr erleben mussten.
Authorities told parents not to send their children to school on Tuesday if possible. Further attacks can't be ruled out.
They are very well equipped. They have automatic weapons and are very professionally prepared.
As armed police continue their search, the army has been brought in to guard key locations. Additional checks are in place at the borders amid fears that one or more heavily armed suspects could already be far from the Austrian capital.
Our correspondent Berish Banerjee is in Vienna and joins us now. Berish, Austria's interior minister is calling this an Islamist terrorist attack. What more can you tell us?
Well, Terry, apparently the authorities have been able to identify this alleged attacker who was shot dead last evening, but no details have been given out about his identity. The police have been saying that given the current situation and given the fact that this is still an active incident, providing details of that would not be proper, although Karl Nehammer, the Interior Minister of Austria, did say that this was a radicalized person who was an IS sympathizer, a sympathizer of so-called Islamic State. An apartment, a residence was raided by police SWAT teams, but beyond that, what they found in that residence and what led them to that residence, none of those details have been provided by police.
Now, have police been able to determine for sure whether there was one or more attackers? It's been suggested that one or more assailants could still be on the loose.
This is very much an active incident, Terry, and is the message that is coming from authorities. That's coming from Vienna police. It is coming from the Austrian Interior Minister, who earlier in the night said, we suspect there is at least one other attacker on the run. When this incident began late last evening, the suspicion was that there could be up to 5 more attackers on the run, but that number slowly went down to at least 1 through the night, and that is the assumption that the authorities appear to be working with, and that is certainly the message that is coming, that there is at least one other attacker who is on the run, which is why you have a huge police force assisted by the army and other counter-terror experts out on the streets of Vienna, particularly in the inner district, in the inner city, where these series of attacks happen, scouring the streets, trying to find this location. Authorities have also mentioned that they have received offers of help from Germany, from Hungary, and from other so-called Bundesländer in Austria.
Well, that must be very distressing for the people of Vienna. The attack, Berish, it took place near a synagogue, I understand. Do you have any details about who exactly was being targeted in this attack?
This exactly is also a question that has come up in the various briefings that have been held through the night, but authorities are reluctant to pin it down to one particular motive, and that is reasonably understandable, considering that at least 6 locations were attacked within literally walking/running distance from each other. The synagogue around which this attack took place was closed in the evening when this attack occurred. It is perhaps pertinent to look at the timing of the attack. This attack occurred in the evening, just about 4 hours before Austria essentially went into another coronavirus lockdown, which is why bars and restaurants, of which there are many in this particular inner district, these bars and restaurants were packed with people. And potentially that could explain the timing of this attack.
Birish, thank you very much for bringing us up to date there. That was our correspondent, Birish Banerjee in Vienna.